Hi everybody, this is Ali with Ali So Crafty. Welcome to my YouTube channel where we create beautiful things together. In today's video, we are going to make a Spider-Man applique t-shirt using HTV. This is the project we're going to make together. But before I show you all the materials and all the steps that it took to make this t-shirt, I want to give you a little background. I made this one first. Isn't this cute? This is for my nephew. He'll be 4 soon. And then my other nephew will be 6 very soon. And so I decided I wanted to make something for them with my machine. So what I did is that I went online and I Googled, appliques, and I found this one really cute. I'll leave the link down below. And I was like, oh, it's an applique. And I started searching on YouTube and found some fun videos on how to make appliques using heat transfer vinyl. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna give this a try. Now, I made a test run a couple of weeks ago, and you can see that video. And in the process, I broke the needle, I tore my fabric. It was a disaster, but I didn't let that stop me. I did not get discouraged. And so I said, you know what? I am going to try this next. Well, little did I know, this design right here had 22 thread changes. Plus, all the steps that you have to do for each one of the applique and each one of the heat transfer vinyl. You have to, take it off the hoop, cut it, iron it, all the things. But I managed. And so I was feeling so encouraged that I decided, why not? I'm going to try another one. And this is the one we're doing today. Now, this one gave me a little bit of problems. And you will see as I was making it, the things that happened. But we're creating this together, right? We're learning this together. But I can tell you it is amazing. It's 3 different colors. It's the blue, the red, and the white. The same with this one, red, white, and blue. And I think I am hooked. I think I will be making more of these. I have 2 more nephews. And so I think everybody's going to get a t-shirt from me. So let's jump into the video and let me show you step by step how I made this t-shirt, an Spider-Man applique in HTV. Okay, so these are the materials I'm using for this project. First, I have the document, the printout. This is good because obviously it helps you see the colors, and it gives you all the steps that your machine is going to take. And it tells me then which areas I need to do the applique, which the 6 will be here in blue, red, and then the eyes in white. So I have a 100% cotton t-shirt. I'm using Cricut vinyl, heat transfer vinyl, white, red, and blue. I am using Tender Touch. This is the stabilizer, but it also works as a cover stitch. So once I'm done, all I have to do, which I have to do it on this t-shirt too, is just trim off any excess stabilizer and then just iron a little piece on top of it, and it makes it soft to the skin, for the kids t-shirt. And so it works both for 2 things, stabilizer and to cover it, and it's iron on as well. So I don't have to use the basting spray or anything like that. These little scissors are like the best thing ever. Like, seriously, do not start any embroidery projects without these scissors. Yes. I'm using a marking pen to mark my t-shirt, you know, the center. And these are erasable ink. So either color, whatever color it's going to be better, easier for you to see. That's the color you use. And the thread. So I have all the thread here. My embroidery thread, the red for the face, the the blue for the number, sorry, the black for the spider web. This silver, I'm going to use it for the inside of the face. And the brown, I'm going to use the brown for the tack down and, you know, the time where the machine places the cut line and all that. I don't know all the names. But anyway, the very beginning, the placement stitch. That's the name, the placement stitch. So I'm just going to use this dark brown for that. Of course, I have my hoops here. And this is a 5x7. And this grid is really helpful because it helps me find the middle on my t-shirt. That way I know, okay, this is the middle, this is the center, and I'm able to align my design and using this little grid. So, and I'm going to show you how I do that. One thing that is important to take into consideration, very important, is the way that you want the design on the t-shirt. For example, the first one I made, the design was actually horizontal. So when I was embroidering the t-shirt, I had to hoop it like this. So, you know, with the neck, the opening for the neck that way. And I had to place the hoop like that because the design was like that on the machine. And this is the way that you hook. See, here's how you hook this hoop to the embroidery machine. If I put the t-shirt that way, then my design would have been crooked. So just, I guess, a little something important to pay attention to. In this case, though, the design is actually a vertical design. So in this case, I don't have to pivot my t-shirt to hoop it. All I have to do is pretty much put the hoop right here like that. Okay. I'm going to cut a piece of the stabilizer. And it needs to be a big enough piece. So my design is going to go this way, and it's a 5x7. Like that. So, maybe, yeah, if I put it like that. So I just, you know, you just have to have enough room. This is really probably not enough room, but because I'm going to iron this to the t-shirt, it should be fine. So I'm just going to take my scissors, regular scissors, and just cut. Okay. And what I'm going to do, I turn the t-shirt inside out. Make sure that you have the right, you know, it's the wrong side, but this is the front of the t-shirt, right? And I'm just going to place this as close as I can to the center. So for example, what I do is that I take my t-shirt and I fold it kind of in half like this. And, you know, this is al ojo por ciento, like I say in Spanish. Like, this is eyeballing it, but here it is. This is half. That's half. take my pin. I just pin it in place real quick. And make sure the bumpy side is down, because that's where the glue is. And the smooth side is on the top, because we're getting ready to iron this. Now I'm going to take an iron and I'm just going to press it really quick and make sure that it's fused to the t-shirt. Get a piece of pressing cloth and don't put the iron straight on the stabilizer. See, it's glued. Now I'm going to take the pin out, put the pressing cloth on top of it, and keep ironing. Perfect. Okay. Now we're going to hoop this design. I need to fold it in half again. Okay. And this is how I measured my center. There are templates out there. There are different techniques how people, you know, you can watch other people's techniques. If you have a better technique, just let me know, please. But this is what this is how I did it the first time and it worked. So I'm gonna do it again the same way. Right? So it's folded in half along the edges. Make sure everything is flat and it's all the sides aligned and everything. So I'm gonna take my ruler and I'm going to, you see the edge here, the seam for the neckline? I'm gonna place my ruler right there and I'm going to count 2 inches down. And I'm gonna place a little marking there. That's the beginning of the 7 inches. So this design is vertical and this is a 5 by 7, which means that the 7th is the length and the 5 is the width. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then half of 7 is 3.5. So this is my center right here. Okay, and then half of 5 is 2.5, right? So I'm just going to mark here 2.5. And these markings will disappear not only with heat, but they will also disappear when you start stitching and doing all that. So I don't have, no worries there. Okay, now I have an idea of where my markings are, like what do I, what I need to do. So here's the tricky part. This is the hoop. These notches right here this is where they go into the embroidery machine. So the hoop has to go this way with the screw at the bottom and the notches on the left side. And so I need to place it like that. So I need to open up my t-shirt and put this hoop underneath it here. Okay? So that's there. That's that. Then I have to take the second part of the hoop and place it there so that it can, stay in place, and then we can start embroidering, right? But I need to make sure that it's centered. So that's when I use this grid and I place it right there. And it has some notches. Oh, where's the hole? It has dots here, holes that I can mark with the pen or whatever. And it also has these little notches here marking the quadrants. And those notches they align with other notches that the hoop has. So I just place them there to make sure that it's aligned and centered. And here is the center And here's my center when I measured with the t-shirt, with the ruler, sorry. So it's not aligned. I need to move this. So now I need to start moving this thing around until it reaches the center. I think that's okay. That's pretty decent. So now I'm going to tighten it, the bottom part of the hoop. Make sure this is in there, inside. Oh, okay. Make sure it snaps in there. Make sure the fabric is tight and there's no loops, no bumps, that it truly is tight in the hoop right there. Okay, that's gonna be important. And that's how it looks in the back with your stabilizer. I think it's good. So now, let me set up the embroidery machine and put the thread and the design and everything so we can start embroidering this t-shirt. This is the most important tool you need, okay, when you're embroidering. I'm telling you. Show you in the camera. I'm gonna do end the edit and then embroider, and it's going to start telling me what to do next. So right now you don't see it, but it's telling me to do the number 6, and it's the very first stitching, which is only to kind of mark where the 6 is gonna go in the design in the shirt. So I'm just going to lower the presser foot and start. Okay, so now the machine stopped that one step. Now we're gonna take the heat transfer vinyl. I'm gonna take the blue one, and I'm cutting a piece just enough to cover the stitching of the number 6. What we're going to do is that we're going to take that film covering, you see that shiny film that comes with a heat transfer vinyl, we're going to peel that off, and we're actually going to be left with the heat transfer vinyl. Just be careful, obviously, you don't want to, you know, rip it. And then we're going to use some masking tape, and I forgot to mention that at the beginning when I was mentioning all the materials. But you are going to use some masking tape or any tape that can easily peel off and it's not going to leave any glue residue on your fabric, okay? We're just going to carefully peel that, and I'm just going to place it like that and take a piece of tape and tape it to the t-shirt. So just make sure it's flat, and I'm just slowly peeling it off. Actually, you may want to have some pieces cut ready. Okay. So just take your time. It's not sticking to the fabric. This is not sticking at all. That's why you need the tape. But you want it to be flat and not have any rolls or anything like that, because when it goes in, you know, under the needle here, we don't want it to lift or start moving or anything like that. Let me just put another piece down here. The more the better. It's not gonna hurt, and it's actually going to help keeping the piece of HTV in place. Perfect. Now let's take it to the embroidery machine where it's going to embroider or stitch the cut line. Okay, so it finished the line stitching, but I had a problem with the top thread, and it broke off there. Let me show you. You can probably see it right there. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is just trim the HTV. Trim it off. As you can see, some of the stitching got on the tape. It's okay, it happened. That happened when I did the other t-shirt, and it was fine. It comes right off. But my concern is that stitching is not there, and I don't know how that is going to affect when the vinyl when it does the next stitching, which anyway, we'll see. you're very careful when using the seam reaper. I had to cut this little circle right here in the center so that I didn't catch the t-shirt, the actual shirt underneath, just the HTV. Okay, perfect. That's the number 6. And now let's continue with the next step. So it finished that stitching, and it did that here, but it's because the face of Spider-Man is going there. Now, one thing I noticed is I should have ironed the HTV prior to this finished stitching, and I didn't. So I'm gonna try to iron it now, and it's going to be bubbly. Oh man, I messed that up. But for the next part, when I do the HTV for the face and the eyes, I will iron the HTV first, press it first, and then do the stitching. We're on step 4. And in the legend here, it says it's silver, you know, for the spider web. But because the t-shirt is gray, I decided to do the spider webs in black. Now that I changed the thread and I placed the hoop right back in the embroidery machine, let's lower the presser foot and press start for the spider web. The next step in this process is doing the outline of the face. I am not going to change the thread. I think I'm gonna leave it just like this, just for the outline of the face. So. Okay. Now I'm going to take a hoop out. So, oh, it's still, yeah. And it's because we're going to apply our red HTV. I like to trim off any of these little threads. Let's take the red iron on, and like I said, just make sure you have enough HTV to cover your entire stitch line. Okay, so it looks like, yes, it looks like we have enough space here. Perfect. Before we, tape it down, we are going to peel it off. So just find a corner and remove that plastic protector that comes with the heat transfer vinyl. You're going to remove that very carefully because you don't want to break it. And see, the line is right there. I'm just gonna make sure to cover all of it, and even the spider webs is fine. And reuse that same tape that we had. That's the beauty of masking tape. It just doesn't really stick that well. So it's just enough to get, to help you keep it in place until the machine is done. Now here, I kind of have a little too much extra, so I can like trim off this little bit of excess HTV. And okay, sure, it's as flat as it could possibly be, please. And now I'm going to take it back. It is going to stitch the cut line. Okay, so now this time I'm going to hopefully do it right. Before I do anything, I have to get the tape out, right? And some of it got stitched, and it's fine. It's not going to mess up anything. And we're going to cut it along that stitch line very, very as close as we can to that stitched line. That's what's gonna give it that nice professional look that I'm trying to go for. So as you can see, I went ahead and I trimmed all the edges around the cut line, and now I am going to press it with the my cordless iron so that it can stay nice and smooth against the fabric, because this is heat transfer vinyl, right? So let me do that. And I'm using my parchment paper, but you can also use a Teflon sheet. And I apply pressure. Okay. Ooh, it's hot. It looks darker, but that's normal. That's maybe I put too much heat. Let me do it a little more. Okay, I think that's good, because I can always press it at the end do a press for the entire design right at the end. So that's good for now. Okay, so the next step. Now, this machine is telling me that we're going to do all that web, spider web design on the face of Spider-Man. And that is going to be a silver color, not a metallic, but just a silver. So I have to change it to silver, and then I'll change it to the red, because then is when we're gonna do the border stitching. Okay. It's all right. At least I don't have to take it out of the hoop for that. All I do is change the thread. Okay, you guys, the silver thread was not playing nice. It kept breaking up. I had to, rethread the machine about 2 or 3 times. And so I finally got fed up and I changed it to the white thread. I was able to finish that step, no problem. So now the next step is to do the red border around the face. So I'm going to change the thread now and continue. And there's the red thread. And now let's get started. Okay, so we are only 3 steps away from finishing this project, which has been a little challenging. Anyway, the next step is the placement line for Spider-Man eyes. And this changes color. It tells you to use bronze and some other color. It's only so that you know the difference, but it doesn't have to be that color. So I am just going to continue with the red, and I'm going to press the start button to do the placement line. And I'm going to do the same for the cutting line. So I'm here, I'm not making any changes. I'm leaving it just the way it is. And now, as you can see, it's going to do the placement line for the eyes. So I'm getting a little bit brave here, and I am going to put the white HTV for the eyes right here. I'm not gonna take it out and put it back in. I'm just going to do it right there. See how it looks? And I'm just going to place that there like that, covering, making sure that the HTV covers the entire placement line. Make sure it's flat also. There are no bumps or anything like that. So now it completed the cutting line, and so it's time to pretty much trim all the white vinyl off around that cutting line. So again, we're going to cut it really, really close to that line, as close as possible. Take the tape off, and that's it. This is the last little bit of heat transfer, or HTV, heat transfer vinyl. A little tired by now. Okay. So as close as possible, right, to that cutting line. And now we're going to stitch the tack down in black all around the eyes. And I already threaded the machine with the black thread. Okay, last step. Let's do this. And here it is after the tack down stitch. This is where the thread broke a couple of times, here and here, and I ended up changing it to the white thread for the top part of this, his face. But yeah, that is not good. It broke there, broke there, broke there. It was obviously the thread. I'll take it out of the hoop and see the final result. I really hope this was a fun tutorial for you, and that you try this technique that I kind of learned along with you today. If you want to watch more videos like this, make sure to check them out right here. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you can get notifications when I upload the next video, and so that we can create beautiful things together. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Ciao.